Alright, hello everyone and welcome. Today is Monday, January 2nd, 2017. That's right, it is 2017. I am Darkside Phil, and today's gameplay stream here is about to be Zelda. Ocarina of Time continuing. I do want to apologize to everyone that I am late today, is because I had a phone call with my parents this morning that ended up going super long about kind of, serious stuff about the new year and a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I don't really want to talk about it because really, honestly, it has nothing to do with, the stream. That's just the reason that I was late, okay? But I'm here, and I have some important things to talk with you who are on the stream chat, or the stream in general about. Yes, if you're in the stream chat, I'd love your feedback here as I talk about it. But in general, even if you're watching this on demand on YouTube or whatever, I need some feedback from everybody, okay? But before we get to that, guess what? Good news, ladies and gentlemen. Much better news than I had for you yesterday. It is official. I did hit the funding goal for Patreon in the month of December. We did it, all right? Enough people overnight realized that their pledges did not go through. They updated their information. It is 100% confirmed we hit the goal, and that means that there will be my very first ever Twitch and Chill live stream marathon happening later this month. It's going to be right before Resident Evil 7 comes out, because I am well aware that once Resident Evil 7 comes out, that's all that anyone's going to want to be seeing me play. You're seriously not going to want me to stop playing Resident Evil. And then just drop it in order to do this stream and then go back to it. People are going to be so ravenous over Resident Evil 7 that they're going to want to see me continue to play it, okay? So I'm going to be scheduling it soon. It is going to be right before the release of Resident Evil 7. In fact, more than likely, I'll schedule it as soon as I get my new calendar. I ordered my new calendar for my office wall here over the weekend. It's supposed to be coming, I believe, this Wednesday. So once I hang it up and I start populating it with all the new games for 2017, I'll be doing a video about that, and I will have a date set for this upcoming marathon, all right? So, that's the good news for today. Thank you to everyone who pledged in December. Awesome. I will actually have a new goal set for my Patreon for the month of January soon. By the end of this week, I'm hoping to have it set in stone and have a title card for it and everything here for you, so you know exactly what you're pledging towards this month for a special reward event, all right? Okay. So that being said, everyone, and I apologize again, I'm still choking here. I spent the greater part of this morning, besides talking to my parents, trying to clear out my throat. Hopefully it will get better. By the way, I do have my new health insurance now. I'm on a better health insurance plan, and as soon as I get my cards in the mail, I'm supposed to get new health insurance cards and everything in the mail. If this cold doesn't go away, I may go to the doctor. We'll see. But now at least I have the freaking, at least I actually have better insurance that should cover at least like a prescription drug if I need to get one. So the good news is I actually might have better health care, which would be good. All right. Now, to the subject at hand, ladies and gentlemen, okay? The subject at hand is what should I do in the month of January until Resident Evil 7 releases, all right? Now, here's the deal. Here is the deal. Right now, I already know that for the second half of every day, I'm going to be doing year-end series, starting as early as tonight. Tonight, I'm hoping to release part 1 of my countdown of the top 20 most disappointing games of 2016. Okay? And that should be good. It should be fun. And I'm excited for it. I always love the year-end series. I put a lot of time and effort into them. In fact, I've already done 2 separate recording sessions for this top 10 disappointing games of the year countdown to do all the voiceovers. Now I need to get to editing, which I'm going to work on starting tonight. Okay? So that being said, that's good. That's already set. You're going to see over the next several weeks, 3+ weeks, the Disappointing Games Countdown, the Funniest Moments Countdown, and the Game of the Year Awards. I strongly recommend that if you haven't yet, please head to the kingofhate.com forums and vote on the Funniest Moments Countdown, okay? Please do so, because I need your feedback, or else I can't actually get, enough feedback to have, well, not that I won't get enough, but the more feedback, the better. When you have the fan-voted funniest moments of the year countdown, the more votes, the better. It's basically you that controls the series, all right? And therefore, please vote if you haven't. Plus, it's 22 funny moments. You're going to get a laugh out of a bunch of them anyway. So it's not like you're wasting your time. You're going to have a lot of fun, all right? Now, the subject at hand is, what am I going to do for gameplay for the rest of January until Resident Evil 7 comes out? Because the bottom line is this. Number one, I want people to be engaged. I want people to be having fun, okay? And enjoying themselves and liking what I'm playing. I want people coming to the streams. I want people showing up on YouTube to watch the videos. And sadly, right now, that's not happening with Zelda. And the bottom line is, I knew that this was going to happen with Zelda. I knew Zelda, Ocarina of Time, was not going to be a mainstream playthrough that was going to garner a ton of attention. I knew it. I knew that it's Nintendo, it's a more niche audience, and it really is just for me to prepare for Breath of the Wild later this year anyway, okay? So I get that background, so I understand where the series is coming from. This is the one game that I never really played, all right? Okay, so that being said, I'm trying to figure out what I should play during January, and I have a ton of ideas, and I'm getting feedback, but there's no real consistency, and let me explain what I mean, all right? So, my original idea for this month, excuse me, was that I was going to go back with Dark Souls 1, replay the game legitimately, okay? Now, some people have said, but Phil, you already played that game twice. Completely and utterly false. That's a completely incorrect statement. The truth of the matter is, I never played Dark Souls 1 legitimately at all. All right? I gave it a shot when it was a new release. What was it? Back in 2011? And I failed miserably. I died. I raged. I didn't understand the combat mechanics. I didn't understand many of the gameplay mechanics. You know, Dark Souls is infamously a series that didn't explain anything. Okay? And because of it, I failed miserably and sucked and quit the game. All right? Now, that was 2011. 2 years later, when I started doing direct capture, I resumed that original playthrough. I didn't start from scratch and start over. I actually had kept my game save files, and I resumed my original playthrough of Dark Souls 1 from where I had held off. The difference here was that I basically had my hand held completely through the second half of the game. People came and I summoned people, and they showed me where to go, and they, you know, fought the bosses for me, and they handed me the weapons, and they did all the work for me, okay? Now, the good news is that I got to see basically a tour of Dark Souls 1. But the bad news is I really didn't understand anything about it, all right? It was just me being carried through the game and getting a tour of the game rather than actually playing the game, all right? Now, fast forward to Dark Souls 2, to Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Demon's Souls. I did end up playing all of those games later on. And I loved them. I fell in love with the series. As cripplingly difficult as it is, I still think it's one of the best game series that are out there. And I had a lot of fun, okay? So I've always had a desire to go back and replay Dark Souls 1 legitimately, because I never did. I never went back and earned all my weapons and fought all the bosses on myself. None of that. It was a fake playthrough, basically, all right? So that being said, that was the one idea that I had for this month. And I figured, hey, this time if I do it fully direct capture, which wasn't the first playthrough, this will be a full direct capture playthrough, with face cam, which I never did back then, with a death counter like I've done for all the other Dark Souls games, this could be a really fun experience, right? And it could be an ongoing thing during the course of the month that I balance with Zelda, and I think it would get people excited, because not only do my fans like to see me play Dark Souls, my detractors like to see me play Dark Souls too. I'm sure they would come out in force to troll me and say that I suck and all of that. It's just part of the organic experience of me playing Dark Souls, and I understand that, okay? I get that. And I thought that that would be really an interesting thing for me to do. Now, it's funny, because I announced this a few days ago, and it seems like half of the people that responded said, this is a great idea. We'd love to see this. Can't wait for it. Do it. It'll be awesome. And the other half of the people were kind of like, meh. We've already seen you play Dark Souls. We saw your classic Dark Souls. Can't even really call it a playthrough. All right. Um, it really wasn't, but we already saw it. Been there, done that. And Dark Souls is an older game, and really, it's not something that would be super interesting. Okay? So, it was kind of like 50-50. That was kind of the feedback that I got. Now, this morning, overnight actually, I got a bunch of suggestions from a few people. It was about 4 people. 2 people wrote me emails, and a couple people tweeted me. And they gave me another idea. And I was like, this could be interesting if this if this works out, okay? And basically, what it was Red Dead Redemption. Now, here's why this is an interesting idea. Red Dead Redemption. First of all, this was a game that I played before I was even doing YouTube as a job. This was back in the, original Dark Side Phil days, okay? And when I played Red Dead Redemption, I was so afraid back then of getting copyright strikes for playing a Rockstar game because earlier on, during my YouTube era presence, on the original Dark Side Phil channel, I got copyright strikes for playing the DLCs of Grand Theft Auto 4. So I actually had created a whole new channel called Red Dead DSP in order to play Red Dead Redemption. Now, here's the deal. Red Dead Redemption was incredibly fun. It was my game of the year pick for that particular year, 2010. I absolutely loved the game, but the playthrough had a few shortcomings, all right? Number one, it wasn't direct capture. This was way before I'd ever done direct capture. So honestly, the playthrough kind of looks like shit. Now, not to say that anyone had great quality visuals back then. A lot of people didn't. But it does, say something that this is a game that is it went down in history as one of the best games of that console generation. And I never did a high quality playthrough of it, all right? Number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming up shortly. Okay, very shortly. It's supposed to come out supposedly at the end of this year. Okay, and the bottom line is there's a lot of hype around that, right? There's a lot of hype around that, built around that, and people are very excited to see, Red Dead Redemption style content, and they want to see something that's related to this upcoming game that hype is building for. So it seems to make sense, that this would be a playthrough for me to do. Something fun, something different that I haven't done since 2010. So 6 years away from playing the game, right? And it's timely because there's this game coming up. So I was like, that could be an interesting idea. And I talked about it on Twitter. I put it up on Twitter. And immediately, I got a bunch of people who responded and saying, this is a great idea. This is an idea that will work. This is better than Dark Souls 1. You should definitely do this idea. Okay? Then within about an hour of me saying that, I got a bunch of tweets coming in saying, this is a terrible idea. The game has no replayability. We don't want to see you replay the same game again. Don't play this again. It's not a big deal to just do it direct capture. We like the idea of Dark Souls 1 better because at least then you're doing a legit playthrough with face cam and death counter, and it will be added value versus a second playthrough of Red Dead Redemption would not have any added value. Okay? Now, a third suggestion that people just gave me in stream chat right as I was starting the stream today was, why don't I play Red Dead Revolver? Now, this is a game that I never played before. This was actually the game that started the Red Dead franchise. The bottom line, though, is that it wasn't one of the ultra successful games for Rockstar Games. Let's put it that way. It wasn't an open world GTA style game. It was a lot different. And honestly, it didn't get widespread appeal. It wasn't like a massive bestseller that everyone was talking about and it got super duper hyped or anything like that. It did okay. But it definitely didn't get any kind of, how can I say it? It didn't get any kind of, basically, it didn't catch on. It didn't go viral popular. A lot of stuff that Rockstar does ends up becoming virally popular. GTA, huge. Every GTA, anything they do GTA, bestseller, right? And Red Dead Revolver wasn't like that, okay? In fact, a lot of people kind of said the game kind of sucked. So, I'm kind of... I mean, it makes sense. It's a game I've never played before, okay? But it's also a game that wasn't widely received as a good game. So, I don't know if that would really garner any interest either, okay? So, that's kind of the things that I'm juggling right now. A second run, or a legitimate run, I should say, through Dark Souls 1 with modern things like direct capture, live streaming, face cam, death counter, or a second playthrough of Red Dead Redemption, now with direct capture, or an original playthrough of Red Dead Revolver, okay? So there you have it. That's kind of the things that I'm juggling around, and I'm considering playing for this month. Now, I have a few more days to mull this over, because today I'm playing Zelda. Tomorrow I'm doing Patreon multiplayer for the final time. Excuse me. Wednesday, I'm actually looking to possibly finish Pokemon Moon. Okay? And by the end of this week is when I'll finally have some free time to start up something new. So I have a few days to figure this out. And I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be playing, but I need your feedback, all right? And the bottom line is, whatever it is that I choose to do is going to be like all those games, Red Dead Redemption, Dark Souls, they're all long games. So the good news is I'll be able to balance that with Zelda on and off for the rest of the month until we get to the new stuff at the end of the month, like this Twitch and Chill stream and the Resident Evil 7 release. But I need to do something that's going to garner interest. I can't be playing a 20 to 30 hour playthrough of a game no one cares about. So that's kind of my challenge here. That's why I need your feedback, all right? Now, I'm going to say one thing, and I'm going to say it definitively. And I'm actually going to title this fucking pre-stream according to what I'm about to say to everyone. Because I never, and I'm serious about this, I never ever want to fucking hear this ever again, all right? Here's the deal. And don't take offense, because I'm not angry at any particular person or persons. There just seems to be so much information and misinformation on the goddamn internet about stuff that I get fed up, and now I'm going to put my foot down about this, okay? Here's the deal. Bloodborne. I loved Bloodborne. I thought Bloodborne was one of the best games of 2015, okay? Absolutely. But when the Bloodborne DLC came out, it came out in the middle of the hardcore gaming season when I was already in the middle of playing a million other games. People harassed the shit out of me to play it, even though I really didn't feel like playing it when I did. When I played it, I got incredibly fucking annoyed because people tricked me into doing New Game Plus, which I shouldn't have done. I got fooled. I'm an idiot. And it became insanely hard, and I couldn't even beat the first boss. I didn't finish the DLC. I quit at the first boss. I never ever wanted to go back to it again. Okay? So what happened? Well, of course, you got people, oh, Phil rage quit never, and I don't really care about that. I really don't. I don't give a shit. I think it's a running joke to people to say Ludwig or whatever the fuck his name was, defeated Phil and Phil never beat him and blah, blah, blah. Okay? So, for the past year, people have been harassing me about going back to Bloodborne and doing this DLC again. And I understand that, especially if you watch the full playthrough of Bloodborne and you liked it, and the fact that I kind of flubbed the DLC because I got tricked into doing New Game Plus like an idiot. And basically the playthrough was ruined because of that. It is what it is. I understand that there's a desire to see me go back. But I'm laying down the law right now, alright? Because I've had enough of this. I'm never going back to it. And there's a very factual, matter-of-fact reason why I'll never go back to it. And you might say, well, what is that reason? Okay? Here's the reason. I don't own the game. Okay? I don't own it. I don't have the DLC. And I don't have any save files. Alright? So, triple whammy. I don't own the game. I don't own the DLC anymore. And I don't have the save files. Alright? Now you might say, well, you could just re-download the DLC. That is true. I don't have the save files. I'm going to say this again. I don't have the save files. I don't know how much more slowly and clearly I could say this. I don't have the save files. Therefore, I can't play the DLC unless I completely replay the game from the start, which I'm not going to fucking do. Okay? I don't know how people can't understand this. Now, here we go, because I knew this would happen. Cloud saves. The cloud, the cloud. The saves are in the cloud. The saves are in the cloud. Download from the cloud because the saves are in the cloud. Wrong! The saves are not in the cloud. Because if you actually pay attention, which most people apparently did not, you would know that my cloud saves for 2 years were completely fucked up. Now you might say, why? I wonder why. Why were the cloud saves fucked up? Because for 2 years, WWE, that's right, ever since WWE got taken over by 2K Games, WWE decided to auto-upload the game saves, all right, including, I'm not even kidding you, all of the created character data and all of the downloaded data to the cloud automatically. And there was no way for it to not do it, okay? There just wasn't. There was no way to not do it. So what ended up happening was I had it set up, please back up all of my games to the cloud. And what had happened is WWE would upload like a 6 gigabyte fucking backup, which is insane. It's supposed to be like a couple megabytes tops. And this game would upload an insane amount of data against anyone's will behind the scenes. So what would happen is you would think your games were auto-saving all the save files to the cloud, and they weren't. Now, I didn't actually figure this out until the end of 2015. It was actually the end of the year. I checked it. I was like, what the fuck? Why does it say my cloud saves are full? And I looked, and literally no game had saved to the cloud for like a year and a half. Because WWE was uploading such insanely long, or insanely large save files, okay? So sadly, there's nothing I could do about it. I mean, if there was a magic way to get this save file, you know, out of the sky, out of the internet, I would do. You can't. I have 0 save data for Bloodborne. It doesn't exist. It's gone. I deleted Bloodborne in late 2015. Okay? And I just don't have the means to continue the DLC, period. So I'm laying down the law now. I have now explained the situation. I don't have any save data for Bloodborne, period. Therefore, unless I replay the entire game from the start, I can't do the DLC. I have no plans to replay a 20-plus hour game from the start to play the DLC. Therefore, I'm never playing the DLC, period. Don't ask me to play it again. Okay? That's it. Period. And it's funny because people will still, troll me now and say, play it. And I get that. But now we know. If someone comes to me and says, Phil, why aren't you playing the Bloodborne DLC? It's a troll. Because I've definitively explained to all of you why I cannot play this DLC again. Okay. Good God. Alright. So there you have it. The choices so far for games for me to play this month: Dark Souls 1, a clean run, the first ever clean run of the game. Red Dead Redemption, a direct capture run of the game, or Red Dead Revolver. Those are my ideas. If anyone else has better ideas, feel free to let me know. But the bottom line is this: I'm not getting a consensus. All right? I'm not getting a consensus at all. I'm not getting, Phil, do this, Phil, do that, Phil, play this, Phil, play that. I'm not getting that. Instead, I'm getting such mixed messages. Like I said, when I first announced I wanted to do a clean run, a fair run of Dark Souls 1, everyone was excited, and then within a couple days, everyone said, don't do it. So now, okay, Red Dead Redemption. This sounds like a great idea. I get a bunch of people saying do it, and then immediately a bunch of people say don't do it. So, I don't know. If I don't get consensus, it means I don't know what to do. And I want to do something that's going to bring people to the stream every day. I want to do something that's going to get people excited and engaged. And they're going to come and chat, and they're going to come and cheer, and they're going to come and sub, and they're going to go on YouTube. They're going to watch the legit full second playthrough of the game. But I don't know if they're going to, and I just don't know anymore. This is the problem with this downtime kind of stuff. And sadly, I'm in a position here where I can't have a month. I just simply put, matter of fact, cannot have a month of January, all right, where I have people not coming to check anything out. And, I understand there's no new releases. I get that, all right? That's why I'm trying to listen to feedback. I'm trying to get an opinion of what you want to see during this month. I can't just not have anyone show up until Resident Evil 7. I can't. I need to pay my bills. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. So there you go. Let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of feedback I get. Let's see, you know, what goes on, and we'll go from there. All right. That's enough blabbing from me, okay? And I'm not going to do any gratuitous plugs today. There's absolutely no reason to. You guys know all about the stuff, right? And I want to get into Zelda and resume Zelda, so. All right. Thank you, folks, for being patient. Thank you for listening. And we will see what happens. And we'll go from there. Fair enough? All right? Fair enough. Okay. Thank you. And let us begin with Ocarina of Time here on the stream. There you go.